Chair.
You're ready.
Okay, yep, right on time.
Welcome to
Sorry.
the Professional and Vocational Licensing Virtual Board Meeting. When the meeting begins momentarily, the chair will take a roll call, explain any specific rules for this particular board, and then move to public comment. The name of the board member will appear on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. For instance, this is board member Y, and this is board member E. Public testimony will be accepted at the beginning of the meeting and before each agenda item. You can indicate that you are ready to testify by clicking on the Raise Hand button being circled by the mouse on your screen now. At the appropriate time, the board will recognize you to speak and ask you to unmute your mic as shown here. Again, public testimony will be accepted at the beginning of the meeting and before each agenda item. Public attendees will not be able to unmute their microphone until recognized by the board. Public attendees who are recognized to testify will be asked to identify themselves by name and their affiliated organization if applicable. Please mute your microphone when you are finished speaking as a courtesy to others and members of the board. Public attendees will not be able to unmute themselves after the testimony is completed unless recognized again after raising their hand. At some point during the meeting, the board may choose to move into executive session. When the board moves into executive session, the board members' microphones and video feeds will be turned off, and a similar screen as you see now will be displayed. When the board returns from executive session, their microphones will be turned on as well as their video cameras. Welcome again to the Professional and Vocational Licensing Virtual Board Meeting. At this time, the chair will call the meeting to order and take a roll call, as well as explain any additional rules that may be specific to this board.
Okay, welcome to the Board of Public Accountancy meeting for Friday, May 30th. It is 8:32. Before going into the meeting, I will read some rules for this board. Internet access. To view the meeting and provide live oral testimony, please use the link at the top of the agenda. You'll be asked to enter your name. The board requests that you enter your full name, but you may use a pseudonym or other identifier if you wish to remain anonymous. You will also be asked for an email address. You may fill in this field with any entry in an email format, for example, your name at xmail.com. Your microphone will be automatically muted. When the chairperson asks for public testimony, you may click on the raise hand button found on your Zoom screen to indicate that you wish to testify about the agenda item. The chairperson will individually enable each testifier to unmute their microphone. When recognized by the chairperson, please unmute your microphone before speaking and mute your microphone after you finish speaking. For phone access, if you cannot get internet access, you may get audio-only access by calling the Zoom phone number listed at the top of this agenda. Upon dialing the number, you will be prompted to enter the meeting ID, which is also listed at the top of the agenda. After entering the meeting ID, you will be asked to enter either your pound list number or wait to be admitted into the meeting. You will not have a pound list number, so please wait until you are admitted into the meeting. When the chairperson asks for public testimony, you may indicate you want to testify by entering star and 9 on your phone's keypad and entering star then 9. A voice prompt will let you know that the host of the meeting had been notified. When recognized by the chairperson, you may unmute yourself by pressing star then 6 on your phone. A voice prompt will let you know that you are unmuted. Once you are finished speaking, please enter star and 6 again to mute yourself. For both internet and phone access when testifying, you'll be asked to identify yourself and the organization, if any, that you represent. Each testifier will be limited to 5 minutes of testimony per agenda item. The connection to the meeting is lost for more than 30 minutes. The meeting will be continued on a specified date and time. This information will be provided on the board's website. The link is in the agenda. Instructions to attend the State of Hawaii virtual board meeting may be found online at this link in the agenda. At this time, I'll take a roll call to call the meeting to order. So Gary Michaud here, Alex Smith,
Here.
John Arbos. Here. Wendell Lee. Here. Robert Kawahara. Here. Isabella Gary. Here. Zach Johnson.
Here.
We'll just make sure that he's alone.
Oh, yeah. Are you alone, Zach?
I am alone.
Okay. Great. Okay, so calling the meeting to order. We're on agenda item number 2. Before I go into this agenda item, is there any public testimony?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
Okay, moving on to agenda item 2A, the NASBA Western Regional Meeting is happening shortly, June 17th to 19th. And I believe we have one of our members attending. Isabella Gary will be attending the meeting, Western Regional Meeting that's happening in New Orleans, Louisiana on June 17th to 19th. So just wanted to not make that announcement. I think that's our only member attending. So I think that's all they offer for scholarships anyway. Agenda item number 2B, CPA application forms. So just as a highlight for this, based on our last meeting, the bill was going through to change the licensure requirements for CPAs. As we're well aware over our discussions over the last year. So the bill did pass. I think in the last meeting we were discussing that it was going through the legislature, and it did pass, and it'll be on our agenda later on. Prior to that, though, I had asked Hector, what is our action items as a board as far as announcements and making it known to, I guess, on our board website and so forth and so on. So, but we have to go through some administrative items first in relation to the CP application form. And this agenda item addresses that. And there's a draft of the revised application form related to the sub-agenda items I through IV. So I'll go over it one by one. The draft was provided to you. And it does kind of segue right into the next agenda item 2C, pathways to CPA licensure, as far as summarizing the changes that were made in the bill. So I guess, like I said, we'll just go down this list of the applications. So agenda item 2B, CPA, Form CPA 04. You guys all had copies of it, and there were revisions to the application form June 4.
Yeah, the only thing that changed would have been on the application itself, section 4-A. We removed the reference to the section that was eliminated and just replace it with additional 12 months. That's the only change there, basically.
Right, so in your materials, we were provided the old version and then the new version, which again was reworded to take out basically the part about if you passed the exam before 2000 and so forth. So we did revise the question 4A, if you have completed 12 months of professional experience in the practice of public accountancy, in addition to the 2 years of professional experience. So that part is new. So is there any discussion on that? Or revisions? So we have to approve this. Is there action item? No,
Not for the
just for discussion.
Yeah, just for discussion.
Okay. Then CPA Form CPA-14.
That should be the experience for nothing changed on that one. It's just if you had 1,500 chargeable hours on auditing and 2 years, 24 months of accountancy, nothing changed on the form. nothing changed.
Yeah, this is the certification of accountancy experience. I think traditionally we had that certified by a CPA. So yeah, that's it. There are no changes to that. CPA form CPA-16, the coursework form. I don't know if there's any comments on that. I did have one, part, it starts off by saying if you complete additional 12 months of professional experience, complete part A. And then if you not completed 12 months of professional experience, complete part B. When looking at the form, substantially the same. Right? I don't know if there's any difference.
Yeah, it should be, it's the same except that on the old form, it mentioned again the section that was, and we just took that out and just replaced it. So because on the old form, it just asked about
Okay, so it's basically just saying that once they fill out the form, if they fill out part A, we know that they're going down the route of 12 additional months.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
And if they go part B, then they're going down the road of the other
A and B,
pathway. So that was only my only comment. It's just that I looked at the two sections and it was not any different. So I just wanted to clarify that. And then the next form, then item 2, CPA, form CPA-, does have this certification of additional 12 months of public accountancy experience. Just as a note on the top, the certification is misspelled, so before we finalize that, make sure we correct that.
But this would be the one, this is the one that would be at, this form right now, it's not in existence yet. So this will be the new one added on to the existing forms.
Okay, so any comments on like I said, other than the misspelling?
So I had one comment on it. I thought just the same as you, Gary. I thought CPA 16 part A and part B exactly the same. It kind of seems like it would make sense if CPA form 14 was kind of part of part A, right? So you'd have to fill out part A and you'd have to fill out that additional certification because it's all related to the additional experience, the additional education requirements. Right, so not to confuse it, so, does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just that if they do choose, let's say part A, part B, the 12-month, then they would have to
Fill out that form.
Yeah,
But one of the complaints that I hear just in general is there's so many forms that people don't always know which ones to fill out, and that usually happens like with the permit to practice form, where people don't understand, I gotta fill out an additional form to get to this part. So maybe if you're not going to include it as part of one document, then maybe somewhere in part A, it says you also need to complete this form.
Okay.
So just somewhere that it references back. So
So to tie it together.
yeah, it makes it clear because it is the same thing. You're all getting to the education part, right? Somehow those two have to.
Differ.
Yeah, part A and part B got to be different. And
Yeah, so maybe add some, yeah, in part A,
Okay.
maybe add that you have to fill out the certification for the 12 months. That kind of, yeah, makes it a little clearer.
Yeah.
To that, on that pathway, so to speak, yeah.
And only people that do part A will have to fill out that certification. If you do
Yes.
part B, that's not a required form.
Right.
Yeah, so just kind of works in the opposite as well.
Is it, I don't know if I'm misunderstanding, but isn't this part A for the additional new experience requirement? Like, this is if you completed an additional 12 months, this is the new thing, right? For part
Yes.
A.
Which is the certification form on that, the following item. CPA.
Right,
form.
I'm just, the content of this says educational institution, course number, course, that's all irrelevant.
No, yes, you're right.
Like, so the content needs to change to be like experience or company or I don't know, relevant titles.
You mean in part A?
Yeah, part A should be this looks like it's education.
Oh, we still have to check for the education, regardless if which pathway they're taking, we have to account for the education. We still need to check for those.
Correct.
So that has to stay there. The additional experience is that's the form, the additional form that we will be adding on. Yeah.
Okay,
I think we're all saying the same thing. But the additional experience, the extra hour, the 1 year is really fulfilling the 30 credit education requirement. It's like you don't have to get that 1 year in public. It really, all it does is it's filling in an education component. It's applying it to 30 credits. That's what's taking it from 120 to 150. So when we think of this, it's not really experience, it's really supplementing education, right? It's kind of how it's written, right? So it should kind of be tied more toward the education parts of it when you do it.
You want to add
It should, yeah, it should kind of be separate from the experience portion that you actually need, which is really 1,500 hours of audit or 2 years of under a permit holder, right? So that's the other part that is not a required experience. It's really an education component. The experience is filling it in. I mean, you think of it like exam, experience, education. That's really coming under education now. That's how it was written. Yeah. We're thinking of it as experience because we're saying, oh, it's practical. You're going to do it in public, but it's really not. It's really education.
Okay, which actually segues right into the next agenda item, which is the pathway to licensure. So the agenda item number 2C, there was a table that was prepared to show the different pathways. What John just kind of said. Pathway 1, 2, and 3. So that kind of clarifies exactly what John just said, basically. So I don't know if anybody has comments to that. I think that was just to make it a little bit easier so that everybody could understand what the different pathways were. So there's the 150 credits with 1,500 chargeable audit hours, 150 credits with 24 months of experience in public accountancy, and then 120 credits with 24 months of public accountancy experience, an additional 12 months of professional experience in the practice of public accountancy for that kind of supplements that education requirements, which we then, again, did it to replace the 30 credit hours, right? The additional 30 credit hours. So I think that this chart, the different pathways kind of make it a little bit clearer to the pathways. You did that. Yeah.
so maybe I'm confused, I'm sorry, but pathway 3, this third box, that's the new part A that's on that form. That's why we're adding part A.
Yes, this is the one where we start out with, well, if we did not know that they had the additional experience, they are required to provide us 150. But then if they can provide that additional 1 year experience, then it becomes 120, and we take that 1 year requirement experience in lieu of their 30 hours education. Right? Yeah,
Correct.
So on pathway 3, my understanding, the way the law read, it didn't say 120 anymore, it just said baccalaureate.
Yes, yeah, because when I first read it myself, I thought, oh wow, 120. I had to check with our DAG to confirm that it is still 150 for all, but with the new law now, it is the 120. But then when you read it, it says plus additional 30 hours.
Yeah, it doesn't say, yeah, it does say baccalaureate. It doesn't say 120. I mean, I think they, at least for now, the implied
120.
It's implied 120. But in our discussions, when we were talking about the bill leading up to the drafting of the bill, I think we had discussed saying, what if the universities start changing the definition of a baccalaureate degree? So I think we eliminated at that point the specific 120.
Okay.
But I think for our purposes, as far as this I mean, just more of a guidance, I mean, maybe you can make a note, but that's true. There's no 120, I think, in the bill. Yeah,
And this is the one that we will be posting on the website, so if there's any changes or any addition you guys want to put in, that would be posted on the website eventually.
yeah, so I don't know, should we make that distinction?
Yeah, I think we should at least asterisk it or something, just say, hey.
It's a baccalaureate degree.
Baccalaureate. The appropriate number of accounting courses, right?
Yeah, I think we should make some kind of change like that. As far as that third column, like what Zach was saying, that in the credits, maybe, yeah, maybe put a footnote on that.
But this page, this pathway page is just, that this isn't legal, it's just on our website,
Correct.
like guidance,
Yes,
right?
guidance.
So maybe you could put like baccalaureate and then in parentheses, put like estimated at 120 credits. So then it kind of ties to like, you know,
That's good. Yeah, that's
The
good.
standard.
yeah, some kind of
Yeah.
a, because later on you know, you need a degree.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, as far as this whole thing is concerned, it was, I guess per my inquiry with Hector saying, hey, we gotta start announcing this thing. What do we do? And so hence, which is why we're discussing it now. So you're right, it is more for guidance on the website and
We put effective date too, because it's
Effective, which date,
July 31st. right?
no, because the reason why I say no is because we haven't, the form is not ready yet. And just to let you know too, we have several applicants already for the July, but they're using the old forms.
Right.
So once the new forms are uploaded, now technically it was signed on April 10th, the new law. So the one that you guys are approving this time, it may not reflect it, so we'll have to put the effective date,
Got it.
just the guidance.
so we are gonna take action and approve the form.
That would be great.
Okay. Again, this pathway solicitor is more of a supplemental information, I think, for the form, but as far as the actual form itself, that's what we're working towards, and under this agenda item, basically 2B, right, is the application form and the supplemental schedule. So again, it's kind of it's ongoing already because the bill got signed into law, like I said, April 10th, and I didn't know that there were applicants coming in already, but
Oh, yeah, we have
But-
applicants, but we call them deficient. They don't have the whole documents yet, so we deficient them till the next one.
okay.
Are you implying that people are gonna apply under pathway 3 already?
Well, that's just to let you know, we have calls. Can I apply now? But I said, well, I don't have the forms yet, you know.
Oh, for 120. Okay.
Right. Then they say, well, I already have the, I said, well, you have to wait till we have the forms, you know, because right now we cannot process it. Even if you are interested, I don't have the forms to process it.
But the law is active.
The law has been signed, yeah.
We have to do something. Got it.
Should approve it.
We gotta approve it, yep.
Okay, so on that note, I guess from action item standpoint, going back, I guess, to agenda item number 2B, the CPA application forms, because I'm assuming we have to.
Yeah, we should approve it.
Yeah, okay. And being that we discussed it, so can I have a motion to approve the CPA application forms as drafted?
So moved. Wendell.
With your additional comments.
Yeah,
With
with
the-
the adjustments.
Yeah, as it is now, I don't want to approve it. It seems confusing to me.
Okay,
Like
do you want-
this ABC thing, like I think it could be written in a more clear way.
Okay, should we redraft it now and approve it? Or as we said, with additional comments?
Yeah, I think Wendell's motion kind of covers that part. Zach, Wendell wants to make some,
We want to make adjustments,
Yeah.
but I know we gotta approve it this meeting.
Right.
Cause you know that A and B thing, when you have two separate things, you can just have them check a box A or B and you still have the same stuff underneath there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You save a couple pages of paper. I mean, we can make those kind of adjustments, right, to make it simpler. Would that help, Zach?
Yeah, that would satisfy.
You know, something like that, just to make it, you either pick A or B and you still can put the same information, right?
So again, the motion is to approve the CPA application forms with those comments, with those revisions. So that would be the motion.
Wendell, so move.
John, I'll second.
Okay. With that, I'll take a vote for approval of the forms. Gary Miyashiro, yes. Alex Smith?
Yes.
John Arbos?
Yes.
Wendell Lee?
Yes.
Isabella Gary?
Yes.
Robert Kawahara?
Yes.
And Zach Johnson?
Yes.
Motion carried. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 3, approval of the minutes of the March 14th, 2025 meeting. Is there any public testimony?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
Okay, let's see. Yes. We move to executive session to discuss anything. Okay, if not, is there any discussion or revisions to the March 14, 2025 minutes? Okay, if not, can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the March 14, 2025 meeting?
This is Zach. I move.
Alex, I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the March 14, 2025 meeting. Take a vote. Gary Miyashiro, yes. Alex Smith, yes. John Arbos.
Yes.
Wendell Lee.
I didn't attend, so I'll recuse
Oh,
myself.
okay. Isabella Gary,
Yes.
Robert Kawahara,
Yes.
Zach Johnson,
Yes.
motion carried. All right, agenda item number 4, 2025 legislative session. Any public comment for this agenda item?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
All right, as mentioned in a previous agenda item, obviously with the CPA application forms, the bill, HB 983 HD1 relating to certified public accountants was passed, which provides additional pathways for CPA licensure. The, I guess, company bill SB 1291 SD1 again clarifies the education and professional requirements for licensure for the CPA. And then we provide a copy of the final bill in your materials. So again, just as a matter of logistics, we, in the previous agenda item in my chairperson's report, we approved the form related to the application. So yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any action item in this agenda item. Just wanted to point that out, that the bill was passed and the copies are provided in the materials. Yep, so I guess thank you, Wendell, for pushing that through and getting all that
A lot
done.
of people helped.
Yeah.
Very excited.
All right, agenda item number 5. Is there any public testimony related to this agenda item?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
The rules, the Title 16, Chapter 71 of the Hawaii Administrative Rules, Section 1671-17B and Section 1671-17 17C related to education. Act 14 repealed HRS 466 5.5 educational requirements for licensure. So that was also provided for as what was being changed, which again, we discussed in detail in the previous agenda items. So any comments, questions, discussions on that item?
Because again, it's just line per line, whatever was listed on the one that was repealed, it's just basically. Again, because technically that would just means, I guess, just not adjusting, but will be updating the HAR. That's basically what it is.
I had a question on that. That automatically happens, or do we have to actually?
Yeah, you guys would have to, a formal process, rulemaking process would have to be initiated to amend the rules so that it's in conformance with the new law. Yeah, so
Oh,
it
okay.
doesn't just automatically become updated by.
That's what I thought.
Be rulemaking with public comment period, things like that, that are going to be complied with.
Okay, so on that, on this agenda item then, as far as the rules and everything, where are we in May? So that process, doesn't that process start like now? Or soon to get to the next session?
No,
next
this,
year?
it doesn't go to the legislature, it goes through.
Oh, the
Yeah,
administrative.
the administrative
I
rules
see.
are,
It's
yeah.
internal here.
Okay, so, we're gonna start that process then, okay. And this is a draft.
That's
Okay.
just to show.
Can this go through like that, I don't know what it's called, but the reconciliation bill that happens at the end where it's like small changes that need to occur, or does this have to follow the full 20-step, 1-year period guidance? You know,
As far as for changing the administrative rule.
yeah, something like this. Is it a substantial enough change that it has to go through that whole, because we just changed administrative rules. I don't know what we were,
21.
yeah, we were part of the end of it, which was a process that took
2
years.
years.
I believe that any change in the rules, it has to
Go through that.
same process.
Got it.
Okay, cool. Well, again, that's what this rule, I guess, rule changes is here for to draft, so, I guess we'll work on it, keep it on the agenda item for the next meeting, I guess. So, as far as like I said, it has to go through the process, so I don't think it would be an action item right now, other than any comments as we go through the process. All right, moving on to agenda item number 6, Executive Officer's Report. Is there a public testimony for this agenda item?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
Okay, with that, I'll turn it over to Hector to kind of cover the couple items for his report.
The continuing professional education, CPE, will be posting this one here because the renewal starts again sometimes in November. And basically, we will be asking for those who have just CPA for ethics of, for credits of ethics. And then those who are CPAs with PTPs, they need to submit 80 hours. And of those, 20 should be from the first biennium and at least 20 for the second one. They can have more, but we should have at least those credits from the first and the second. That's basically it for that. For the updates on the August 2024 audits that we did, that one, we had some, most of those who did not, well, who are not now showing current. If you log into my PVL public site to check your license, it will show you type in your license, it should show current and good standing. But for some of those that we did an audit on, apparently what happened is I gave them a second chance. I sent another letter. The problem is those letters came back again, and the accounting board's law says that if there's changes, they should notify the board of any change, including like the addresses. So for those who did not let us know and because they could not provide the documentation that we asked, we changed their status. So if I were to go in, we change it so that if they try to renew by November and December, the system will stop them if they do it online. It'll say, no, you have to submit something. Then they'll call us and then we'll tell them why they can renew. And then we'll tell them, we sent you this, provide us the documents that we asked and tell us in writing your change of address. That's basically, then we can go to the process. Yeah. So just in case, I know sometimes public emails the board members and says, can you do this? Well, first of all, the board members are supposed to forward it to the board itself so we can check it out. And most of you who have public emails, they will forward it to the board and say, just to let you know, so and so emailed us and I'm forwarding it to you. So I would appreciate those board members who have been forwarded and not answering on their own because again, we have to answer to the board itself. But if you can log in to renew, that means something happened to your account. That's it for me.
Yeah, that agenda item that Hector just reported on as far as the audit, I was just reviewing some of our minutes from last year and then I think just wanted to update on the audit. I think we left some of it not hanging, but I guess it was ongoing. So I just wanted Hector to provide an update on the audits from the last licensing period that we went through. So that's the update. Being that we're going into this new licensing renewal period at the end of this year, I figure we should clear up some old items before we get to this licensing period and we gotta do an audit again. Okay, moving on, as far as agenda item number 7. Is there any public testimony related to this agenda item?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
Okay, let's see. Move into executive session.
Yeah.
For a couple agenda items,
Yeah.
or does it have to be one and then come out and then do another?
I think as long as you announce what you're going into executive session.
Okay, I wanted to make a motion to move into executive session for agenda item number 7. CPA scores extension request and agenda item number 8, application. So I'm making a motion to move into executive session for those agenda items. Any second?
Second.
Okay. Then moving second to move into executive session, I'll take a vote. Gary Miyashiro, yes. Alex Smith? Yes. John Arbos?
Yes.
Wendell Lee? Yes. Isabella Gary?
Yes.
Or Kawahala?
Good.
Jack
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes. Where do I go? Or we'll switch over.
Get the notice,
Okay.
Okay. Let's move into executive session. We're back. Okay, all right, we're back in regular session. Resuming agenda item number 7, CPA scores extension request by the Angel Mercer. Can I have a motion to not approve the extension request for the Angel Mercer?
This is John, I'll move.
Robert, I'll second.
Okay, I'll take a vote. Gary Miyashiro, yes. Alex Smith,
Yes.
John Arbles,
Yes.
Wendell Lee,
Yes.
Isabella Gary,
Yes.
Robert Kawahara,
Yes.
Zach Johnson.
No.
Okay. Being that we do have a quorum, motion is carried. All right, moving on to agenda item number 8, applications. Is there any public testimony related to this agenda item?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
Okay, for agenda item number 8A, ratification of CPA permits to practice. We have 22. All right. Well. 22. Can I have a motion to approve the 22 applicants for ratification of CPA permits to practice?
This is Wendell, so moved.
Isabella second.
Okay, moving and seconded to approve the ratification of CPA permits to practice. I'll take a vote. Gary Miyashiro, yes. Alex Smith,
Yes.
John Arbos.
Yes.
Wendell Lee.
Yes.
Isabella Gary,
Yes.
Robert Kawahara,
Yes.
Zach Johnson.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Agenda item number 8B, approval of firm trade names. We'll do this separately in 2 motions because agenda item number 8BI, the approval for David J. Sales, PA. The board can't approve this under section 466-10 for the acronym PA. Can I have a motion that we cannot approve this under section 466-10?
This is John, I'll move.
Alex, I'll second.
Okay, we move the section to that the board can approve this name, firm name. I'll take a vote. Gary Miyashiro, yes. Alex Smith,
Yes.
John Arbos.
Yes.
Wendell Lee,
Yes.
Isabella Gary,
Yes.
Robert Kawahara,
Yes.
Zach Johnson.
Yes.
Separate motion, 8B double I, for Balance CPAs LLC to approve the firm and trade name for Balance CPAs LLC. Is there a motion to approve this name for Balance CPAs LLC?
This is Robert, so move.
Wendell, second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the name Balance CPAs LLC. I'll take a vote. Gary Miyashiro, yes. Alex Smith,
Yes.
John Arbos,
Yes.
Wendell Lee,
Yes.
Isabella Gary,
Yes.
Robert Kawahara,
Yes.
Zach Johnson.
Yes.
CPA applications, agenda item number C. We have 25 applicants. Can I have a motion to approve the 25 applicants listed here on the agenda?
This is Robert, so move. This is Alex, I'll second.
Moved and seconded to approve the CPA applications. I'll take a vote. Gary Miyashiro, yes. Alex Smith,
Yes.
John Arbos,
Yes.
Wendell Lee,
Yes.
Isabella Gary,
Yes.
Robert Kawahara,
Yes.
Zach Johnson.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. All right, this agenda item number 9. Next meeting will be July 18th, 2025, here in this conference room. That being said, meeting is adjourned.